Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Myself Dr. Kishore Roy, and in this video I am going to discuss Ruskin Bond. Basically what I am going to discuss is some of his storytelling templates, so to say, some of the very prominent, some of the very popular templates that we come across in his writings. One of the very first template and one of the very popular template happens to be observation. Now, when we read his novels or when we read his short stories, in most cases what we find is what he has observed. Those things he translates them into words, he translates them into stories as characters. In his novellas, in his short stories, that's what he does. So whether it is about describing nature primarily, because most of the stories or most of the novellas, we find that Bond extensively discusses the nature. Even couple of days back, while I was reading Delhi is Not Far, in that also he was discussing a lot about People Nagar and some of the roads that lead to Delhi, some of the places that happen to be in the outskirts of Delhi. So he has been discussing those. He has been discussing about what happens during the monsoons, what happens during summers. He discusses about the various animals that come out of their burrows and enjoy the rains, so to say. And even in many of the stories that are describing the hills, the flora and fauna of the hills, we find that there is a lot of elements in his stories, in his novellas, that describes nature, that describes the people. And when he describes the people, it is the way he describes it, it is very much evident that he must have encountered this kind of an individual in his actual life, and then he uses some bit of imagination, he adds some bit of imagination to it and gives it a character that will be a durable character, that will be a character that will have longevity, so to say, in the minds of the readers. So that is one very important template to discuss. Another very important template to be discussed over here is revisiting childhood. Now this is another very endearing aspect of Bond's writings. The Room of Many Colors, one of the very prominent short stories, which is actually where he revisits his childhood and his days in Jamnagar, his days in Delhi, along with his father, and whether it is about stamp collecting or things like that, where he had that passion of collecting stamps, and how his father helped him to gather those, to accumulate those, discussing about those things. So again, that is very fantastic way of developing stories. He also talks about his grandfather, his grandmother, and in many cases, actually, what he is discussing is discussing his days of childhood, experiences of childhood, where again he might have mixed some bit of imagination to what actually happened in reality at that point of time while he was a kid. The third storytelling technique or template happens to be semi-autobiographical, and this has been one template that Ruskin Bond started with, so to say, because his novel The Room on the Roof was basically a semi-autobiographical stuff, so to say, because he fictionalized himself as Rusty instead of Ruskin. But a lot of things that he discusses over there, his travels as a writer, his longing to come back to India, and how he struggles as a writer, how he keeps his passion alive to become a writer, and that is again to be found in Vagrants in the Valley also. So that was a novella that succeeded The Room on the Roof, and there again we find whatever he is writing about over there is more or less semi-autobiographical. To a certain extent, Delhi is not far. Again, where a character of Arun is basically how he has fictionalized his name, his existence in that story. But again, he talks about the struggles of a writer and how he finds a way out to fulfill his dreams. So this is what actually happened to him also as a writer. So starting as a columnist, writing stories for various magazines, for various newspapers, and then how from 1980 onwards things started improving for him as an author, and the publishers like Penguin and others, Rupa, they came to the fore and started publishing his short stories, his novellas in book format, and that's how he started gaining more and more traction in the as an author. Last storytelling technique which I will like to discuss happens to be dreams. And again, few days back I was just viewing one of his recent interviews in which he speaks of that during these times of corona he has been sleeping a lot and he has been dreaming a lot, and in many instances what has happened is some of the dreams he has been successfully able to translate into stories. And this is something that even it happens with us also. Many a times some of the dreams actually provides us the fodder for stories, some good stories, some interesting stories, and probably those are certain dreams that stay with you. Not all dreams stay with us. Once we wake up in the morning, it just gets lost. But in certain cases what happens is some of the dreams stay with us, and many a times these dreams have a potential to be turned into great stories. So this is what I will like to discuss about his storytelling techniques, templates. Going back to the observation thing again, one of his short story, a very endearing short story, The Blue Umbrella, is something which was based on observation and imagination, so to say, because he actually saw a girl exchanging her blue umbrella, or rather exchanging her a talisman of hers with a blue umbrella that a particular group of some foreigners were carrying to that place, and from there that the seed of that story germinated, and Mela Ram and those people were added to that story to give it a very very interesting shade to that story. So that's it, viewers. On this occasion of Ruskin Bond's birthday, I felt like sharing this video where I discuss as an avid Bond reader, as a Bond admirer, some of his storytelling templates which have been very common, which have been very very popular and very very endearing. I hope viewers, you have liked this video. Please post your comments and your likes if you really find this video interesting. Thank you.